Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to the next chapter of the Lightning Library. This is the series where we take an in-depth look at every entry in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, go over its history, and then take an in-depth look at it. Today we are taking a look at the convention-exclusive Hasbro, PulseCon exclusive technically, Lord Drakkon Evolution 3 figure that was released during the fall, specifically August/September of 2020. And this is definitely a mixed bag for sure. This figure retailed for $50, which is the most expensive standalone figure in the Lightning Collection. Previously in 2019, there was a Jason 2-pack of Zeo Gold and Armored Red, which retailed for $50. And for those two figures being, two regular $20 figures, which would be $40, plus all the extra accessories they came with and that kind of convention exclusivity of it being like an extra $10, I felt $50 was reasonable. But this figure, just on its own for $50, is definitely a different story here. But we're going to go take a look first at its gigantic box, which we're going to have to zoom out for. So here is the box. Actually, here is the box. So, for Lord Drakkon Evolution 3, if I just kind of adjust things a little bit here, we could probably get away with the middle setting on this one again. So yeah, this box is nice. I mean, you're paying for an exclusive convention figure, so you better be getting some kind of special release, And this is definitely like the most special box we've had. So you can see here, obviously, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Lord Drakkon Evolution 3, 4+, which no. I mean, this figure is expensive, and it was a pain to get out of the box. So with the limited space that I have, I hope this is working somehow. We'll just let that fall. So yeah, this is where he was. Obviously he's not there anymore because he's out, but this was a pain to get out of the box. First of all, we'll take a look at Tom Whalen's beautiful box art there. I mean, fantastic artwork as always from Tom. You get Lord Drakkon Evolution 3 there. You even still get a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo on the top of the box, which, like all the seasons, the logos for the seasons are on the box, so it's nice continuity there. This is interesting. You do get a bio for him. The evil Lord Drakkon keeps the helmets of defeated Power Rangers as his trophies, displaying them by his throne to strike fear into the hearts of those who would oppose him. Pretty good bio, I would say. But what's interesting on this figure is that there is no 3D render for it. Every single Lightning Collection figure, including the first Comic-Con release, has had a 3D render of what the figure would look like on the back of the box. And to this day, this is the only figure to not have it. This is just an actual picture of the figure. And then, of course, here's that empty gap of where he was. But look, you saw in the Tom artwork, look how much just empty space there is here, especially on the top and everything. So you have this gigantic plastic window on here. The figure is buried like 1 billion feet behind it. And opening this thing was such a pain. There were 1,000 zip ties on this thing. You're never getting it back in the box if you're going to bother to open it, or if you're one of the people who were sent a free one. Maybe keep one in box, one not, but we're just going to move that out of the way here because obviously the figure is what's important. We will, real quick, before we do the history, we'll take a look at this. This is the print that was an exclusive print included with the figure, which was just taped to the back of the box. I have never actually even opened it from its little baggie. It's just a little cardboard print. It is pretty cool though. You have the helmets down there, the shattered grid thing, just like as it said on the comics, on the comic covers. So I really do dig that, and it is just kind of a nice touch here. So let's go ahead and do the history of this figure before we finally take a look at what's going on here. Hasbro has made convention exclusives for years. Since the Lightning Collection started back in 2019, they've released one each summer to be an exclusive at San Diego Comic-Con. The first sign of what 2020s would be popped up when I found an Amazon listing on Amazon Germany on May 25th, 2020 for an MMPR Lord Drakkon EV3 figure. When this listing was taken to international Amazon sites, it had it listed as PRG Pet Con item. Previously, in 2019, the Jason Lee Scott 2-pack had been coded as PRG Pets Con 2-pack. So it was safe to assume that this new Drakkon would also be the convention exclusive for the year, though the price point listed on Amazon seemed to indicate that the release would just be a little bit more than a typical release. Whether that meant more than one figure for the different evolutions, or just more accessories was unknown exactly at the time, or what it would include. One unknown factor was San Diego Comic-Con itself. It had been canceled for 2020 by this point due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, so it was unknown what would end up happening for this release for a long time. The next update on the figure came on June 20th, 2020, when it appeared on a bill of lading, showing that it was done and on the way to the US. By the time July rolled around, @JTPrime17 from Twitter would crack the case on what this release would look like, when Amazon France updated the product description on July 1st to say that the release would come with broken Power Rangers helmets and a poster based off of the comics. The form of Lord Drakkon Evolution 3 was the one he assumed in the finale of the Boom Studios Shattered Grid event back in 2018, and it was the showcase of the cover for issue 30, with him in his throne surrounded by broken helmets, which seemed that this figure would be heavily based off of that. By mid-July, the rest of Hasbro's SDCC exclusives were being revealed one after another, with Drakkon's turn to be revealed finally coming on July 22nd. The figure was said to cost $50 and would release on Pulse in September. Being an exclusive to a convention, it meant that there was no way that it could possibly have come out any early. Oh, are you? Wow. Yep, well, there it is. Well, I guess because the convention didn't happen like it was supposed to, the figure actually went up in stock towards the end of August 2020 from Amazon UK. So international fans got the chance to have the figure first and show off what made it tick, like YouTuber Heirloom did. In showing that the Saba included was different from the original Wave 1 Mighty Morphin White release, the head could be detached to be more comic accurate. Finally, the Hasbro PulseCon event would be announced to take place at the end of September 2020, and all of the figures that were supposed to be for SDCC would now be PulseCon exclusives released on Pulse after the event. The event came at the end of the month, and ordering was simple enough, but over the next few weeks, many people would end up not receiving their orders and having them get canceled, while many others were sent a second one that they did not order for free. This was all rather odd, and eventually the release went back up for pre-order for a March 2021 restock, later pushed to May 2021. Today, at the time of this video, the figure is still in stock at Hasbro Pulse, and due to all the unusual circumstances of 2020, it will likely keep its place as the easiest to obtain convention exclusive released in the line for years to come. Though is the price worth it? Let's find out. Alright, so here is Lord Drakkon Evolution 3. Definitely a figure. So I like a lot about this. There's also a lot that I don't necessarily care for with this. Take a look at the actual figure itself. I mean, it's beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted. I mean, you get a lot of just really pretty things here with the symbol on the chest there. The Power Morpher is accurate to have the red coin and kind of the black trim around that and everything. I really do dig that. You get really nice red line artwork or paintwork going all around the suit. Even though this is a very expensive convention figure, you see how the red on the visor is bleeding over under that mouth plate? Kind of ridiculous on mine. I wish that was not the case for such an expensive figure. You do get this giant rubbery cape. I also wish that this was fabric for the price that you're paying for it. But I mean, it's just this gigantic rubber piece that's connected via a back peg there, and then two tabs in the whole like rubbery shield armor there. You can detach the cape. That is possible, although it's kind of hard to get it back in there. So that's up to you if you want to keep it in or not. It pretty much acts as like a built-in stand for him. He's really not going to be able to fall over because the cape is going to catch him. It's like here, he's technically not standing. The cape is standing. So that's kind of interesting. Of course, his articulation is the same as any Lightning Collection figure, but that cape is definitely going to get in the way here. I mean, it's definitely kind of built off of the original Lord Drakkon figure that was released at the end of 2019, which I can just go ahead and grab right here from the shelf. So put the two next to each other. You can see where they are similar. I believe the boots are the same design, just obviously painted it differently. And I mean, the chest plate is definitely a different kind of thing going on there, and the helmets are different. But yeah, I mean, this is Space Drakkon, this is his final form. So it makes sense that it's going to be different here. In terms of like accessories he does have a lot of kind of neat accessories. The hands are nothing super crazy to note. There's just a holding hand for his left hand and a different kind of holding hand for his right hand. Because these ones are not really holding hands. These are kind of just like gripping like rah hands or something, you know, to hold on to one of the helmets or something like that is kind of what the point of that is for that. So you get that. We'll talk about the extra accessories here in a second, but you do get a Saba. Now this is really cool. So first of all, you can put it into the holster in his belt buckle. A little difficult to kind of finagle it down there, but you can get it to go in there. So actually, I think that might have been the first time I've ever done that on this figure, to be honest. I don't remember if I have done that before or not. So there's that. But what's really cool about the Saba is that it is different from the original Wave 1 release, from the original Mighty Morphin White, to where you get these extra little dots of gold paint there below his kind of mane. But what's really cool, and they didn't advertise it, and I don't know if they didn't advertise it just because it's kind of graphic or what the deal was, but you can remove Saba's head. Because in the comics, spoiler for Shattered Grid, Drakkon kidnaps Saba and then murders him, so that way he can't defy him anymore by ripping his head off. So this is definitely the way I like to pose the Saba with the Drakkon, but you do, you know, or just have him, you can have him like hold the sword and hold the decapitated Saba in another hand. That's actually pretty cool if you decided to do that, and you can just peg it right back in there. But overall, I mean, it's a very nice Saba. You could also just put it with your regular Mighty Morphin Whites if you really wanted to do that for some reason. And of course, you do get a civilian head, which is actually one of, as of right now, 2 times that the civilian heads are packaged on the figure from the get-go, because this is packaged this way and the helmet is packaged right next to him. This happened very similarly, again, with the Metallic Armor MMPR pink figure with the cat head, which we will get to in a couple of weeks. But the head is essentially the same as the one that happened in the original Lord Drakkon release from Wave 3. But it is a little bit different. They just added some extra little like detailed cracks and veins or whatever on his cheeks there. And they added these silver streaks in the hair. But the sculpting is the same there. So this is actually, technically, the first Lightning Collection civilian head to be based directly only off of a comic appearance. Because the original Drakkon head is kind of based off of that promotional commercial that Jason David Frank did for the Shattered Grid event. And then every other comic figure we've had so far hasn't come with a civilian head. Ranger Slayer didn't for some reason. Psycho Green didn't need to necessarily have one. And the upcoming Tyrannosaurus Sentries are supposed to be army builders, so they don't have one either. So this is technically our first like comic-only kind of head sculpt that we have here. So that's somewhat notable, even though it is just a repaint of a pre-existing one. Though I really wouldn't have expected them to do this any other way. So that does make sense there. So then of course you can just attach the helmet back on there, and we are back in business for Lord Drakkon Evolution 3. Now, to kind of, I guess, justify the price point, you get a lot of random accessories with it. So not only we got over the hands on the weapons and the head, so I mean, that's pretty typical Lightning Collection fare there. But you've definitely seen this in the background the whole time. You get this giant, which I will have to zoom out for this. You get this giant lightning piece, and you get 2 of them. So you get these giant lightning rubbery pieces that it's like kind of cool, but like kind of unnecessary, like at all, like entirely really. You can try to make some kind of cool diorama with it using this thing, which we'll get into there. You can kind of wrap it around the whole figure and be like he's, you know, destroying the Morphin Grid or whatever. It's weird. I get what they're going for with these, but these just feel more, the longer I have them, the more they just feel kind of useless and more of just a way for them to continue to gouge the price up. But here is this little cool accessory here that I really do enjoy, which we will pan down for. This rock. You get this rock piece with 4 Power Rangers helmets on it. This is pretty cool. I do like this is here. So you get, it's a nice little rock detail and everything. But that's not the main point here. The main point is these broken helmets. So these are battle damaged versions of MMPR, red, pink, yellow, and green, which funnily enough, this was the first time we got the regular green in the Lightning Collection before the Wave 7 Lightning Collection Green Ranger figure came out, because at the time of this coming out, we only had the Fighting Spirit one on the shelves. And then Mighty Morphin Red still has the same problem as the other times the figure has come out, with the no white trim over the visor. So they didn't like fix that or anything for the for the new release, or try to do anything like that, unfortunately. I mean, it would have been kind of cool to see that. But you can, I'll grab him over here, take the original releases of the Lightning Collection figures. So this is the original Mighty Morphin Red from Wave 3. And these are just on these ball joint pegs. So we'll pull it off here and punch the entire display thing. Very tight quarters I'm working with here. And you can plug that in there and have a battle damage Red Ranger helmet. And you can do that with any of them. You can technically put these helmets on whoever you want. And vice versa, you can technically put whatever helmet you want on here. So if you tried to do it not upside down, you can just peg it in there. I mean, it's kind of loose a little bit, but I mean, it will work. Nothing saying you couldn't do that. And then, yeah, you do get one for the Mighty Morphin Yellow and Pink. So you don't get one for black or for blue, or for white, I guess. But that's fine. I don't really think we needed to do that. I mean, it would have been cool to get the whole team. I'm not going to, say that wouldn't have been cool. But I do like what we got there. Now, this kind of interacts with the lightning pieces here. It's kind of tricky to see what they want you to do with it. So there's like a peg. Where even is it? Sometimes it's hard for me to even find it. Is it on this one? I believe that it is, but I don't know where the peg is. It's right here. There's a peg right there. You see that kind of square piece that sticks out? And it's like you can kind of peg that into there, and then like stand that up, kind of, and put Drakkon in it, and something. Sure, something like that, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I think they could have just gotten away with some kind of special effect piece for Saba, or maybe for like his hand or something. It is cool. I mean, it's definitely this really cool exaggerant piece to have, but I don't know. We'll have to see. The longer I have it, the more I just kind of see it as a way for them to make the price go up more than it is anything actually cool. I actually like to use that gap in the rock structure there for not the effect piece. I actually like to use it for Saba, kind of like a sword in the stone kind of thing. You can try to kind of take a weapon and rest it in there. I think that looks pretty cool. You have him like place Saba in the ground or something like that. I think that kind of works, and that's what I like to use that for more than that. I try to figure out a way to use that, but this is cooler to me. That's really going to do it for Lord Drakkon Evolution 3. The most overpriced Lightning Collection figure? I mean, at least you can still get him for retail value, which, $50 is still expensive, but at least that's what he is retailing for, so it's not like he's doubling the price or something like that. I mean, beautifully painted figure. Obviously, you're still going to get a little bit of QC issues with that. If you like the form, I like the form a lot. I mean, I'm a Lightning Collection completionist anyway, so I would have got it regardless. But, I mean, I think it is cool. I just wish that for the $50, we would have maybe, had more helmets. A fabric cape would have been nice. A dragon dagger. He doesn't even have that. And they've pumped out the dragon dagger with like 50 figures. So I feel like maybe we could have at least gotten something like that. But it's really just going to kind of be, how much do you like Drakkon? How much do you like the Boom Comics, and specifically the Shattered Grid event? How completionist are you on Lightning Collection? And do you think that the $50 upcharge is worth it? I think obviously it deserves to be more expensive than $20. I think you're definitely getting more here between the headless feature on the Saba and them having to do a new mold on that, between the big cape, between the helmets and the rock thing, and the effect piece. You're definitely looking at least 35, I would say. 30, 35, maybe 40. I mean, that's a 2-pack price here, and you're still getting one figure. But then when you have all that for just one figure at 50, I think you're really starting to push the envelope on that a little bit there. But that's all we really have for Lord Drakkon Evolution 3. Let me know down in the comments below, did you pick up this figure? Did you change your mind if you were not going to get it? Did you get it now that it's been in stock for so long and you've had chances to, maybe decide now you wanted it? Do you think 50 is too much for it? Do you think that's a good price for it? What would you have done or would like to have seen this figure do? And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching this week's chapter of the Lightning Library. I'll see you all next week where we will be here to take a look at the next full proper wave of the Lightning Collection. It's been a long time since we've covered a wave because there was a lot of exclusive one-off figures during the summer of 2020. But now as we head into the fall of 2020, we will take a look at the next wave, Wave 6. So I'll see you all next time. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And until then, Lightning Collection forever, I guess. That's not my send-off.